Hi, I'm Shauna Hooks, and we will discuss the creation of the application for payment for our professional service providers who handle school district projects. So this is for our architect engineers and commissioning agents and all those professional service providers. I am Shauna Hooks, and I am the IT Operations Support Manager for the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission. So today we'll talk a little bit about the creation and the submission of the application for payment, and we'll be utilizing the updated views. That's the new view that all of our users are currently using. Within that creation of the pay application, we will review the schedule of value, we'll add line items, add attachments to the document, or add documents to our record, and add comments. We'll also talk a little bit about saving your record as a draft. So the first thing you're going to do is log into OakCI. And when you log into OakCI, you should see some tabs at the top of your screen. You may or may not see them, but you definitely will see a plus sign somewhere within this area. So what you're going to do is you're going to click that plus sign, and that'll pop up a little search area for you. And then you'll just start typing the project name or the district name that you wish to get into. Once you start typing that name or number, you should start getting a population of all projects or districts that you have access to with similar numbers. So you'll go ahead and double click on the district that you want to get into. Once you've done that, you're going to be in that main home page of your district. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can come down to your Logs button and click Application for Payment. Once you've clicked Application for Payment, you're going to come to the right-hand side of your screen and click the Create button. That Create button will open up a new application for payment record for you. And right now, we're going to be working in that General tab. So within that tab, you're going to populate the title of the pay request. Usually that has something to do with, or you'll have maybe your project number in there, and then you'll have a P1, P2, or PR1, PR2. You want to make sure that you're able to identify this pay request by the numbered pay request it is. So if this is your first pay request, it'll be PR1. If it's your fifth, PR5, and so on. Next thing we're going to do is come down to Contract Reference. And in that Contract Reference area, we're going to click that little select tag sitting there. And when you click it, you should see just one contract. So in my sample, I have 3. For you, you'll just see 1. You'll highlight that contract and you'll click the select button. Now you have populated your contract into your record. Next thing we're going to do is answer a couple of basic questions. Is this your final payment? Yes or no? The next thing you're going to do is come down to the period from and the period to. Within that period from, you're going to click on that calendar and select the day from, the start date, and you'll click the calendar and the period to and enter the end date. That's usually about 30 days. Next thing we're going to do is scroll down that page. So on the right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see this little scrolling tab. You're going to drag that down, and that'll take you to the next area of your record. And we're going to come down to this area. Select your most recent approved pay request. So for first pay request, we're going to leave this blank. But if this is our initial, if this is initial pay request, we're going to click yes. If this is not our initial pay request, we'll select no. And if this isn't our first pay request, then we want to pull in our most recent pay request that's been approved. So we're going to come down to the previous pay request area, and we're going to click that select button. When I click that, I'm going to get a list of all of my previous pay requests, and I'm going to select my most recently approved pay request. So I click the select button, I select my most recently approved pay request, and I click the select button again. So I have now populated my most recent pay request against this current pay request. Next thing I'm going to do is take a look at my commits remaining balance. It's really important to know where you are currently with your schedule of value before you start billing. So a quick, easy way to find that information out is to come to the upper right-hand corner of your screen and click that little hamburger, that little arrow down next to the hamburger, and click SOV. When you click SOV, it'll take you to a secondary screen like the one I'm looking at here. And in this secondary screen, you'll be able to see your current line items on your schedule of value. You'll be able to see what the current schedule of value is and what your current commits remaining balance is. So this is telling me that this is how much money I have available on the lines that I can see here. There's also another way that I can take a look at the screen if I want to see more information, so I want to be able to scroll. I don't want to have to do too much scrolling. What I can do is click that split button on the screen. By clicking the split button, it's going to lock my column, so everything to the left of the column is going to be locked to the left, and everything to the right, I can go ahead and scroll through. So it just makes it easier for me to view everything I need to view pretty quickly and easily. Now, if this doesn't work for you, another thing you can do is actually export the Excel spreadsheet. So I can take all of this information and put it on a spreadsheet. I can click that export button. It's going to bring up a little CSV file for me that I can just simply double click on. And again, it's the same information, just in an Excel spreadsheet for me. And again, what I'm paying are those commits remaining balances. How much money do I have available on each line? Now that I've looked to see how much money I have available, I'm now able to start identifying the lines that I would like to be paid for. And I'm going to do that by clicking that Pay Request Details tab right next to the General tab. So I'm going to come to the right of the General tab and click Pay Request Details. When I do that, I'm then going to click the Add button. Once I click the Add button, I'm going to get another screen that's going to pop up for me, and I'm going to be able to start populating my information. Now, if I don't see everything I want to see in the area that I can see within that box, one thing that I can do is lock my column. So I can right-click on any one of these headings, then I can come down and say Lock Column. Or I can resort them. I can do whatever I need to do in order to see everything I want to see pretty quickly and easily. So in my example here, I have locked the column, kind of like what we looked at earlier with the SOV. I can see that everything to the left of that column is available, and everything to the right of the column, I can go ahead and scroll over to look at whatever columns I want to take a look at. So now I'm ready to start identifying lines that I wish to be paid for. So the first thing I want to do is ensure that any line that I've identified, I want to ensure that I plug in a short description. So I'll plug in a short description for that line. The next thing I'll do is come to the right, and I will either enter a % of services complete, or I will enter a DPE or reimbursable dollar amount. So if this line has been identified as a DPE or reimbursable, I'm going to plug in a dollar amount, and only a dollar amount. If this is a services line, a basic services line, then I'm going to plug in a % complete. So that's very important. I'm going to do either column B or column C, but I will not do both. So if this line has been identified as a DPE or reimbursable, plug in your dollar amount. If it's a services line, then go ahead and plug in your % complete. Once you've plugged in the appropriate information, you're going to hit the Save button. Now, sometimes when you hit that Save button, you may end up with an error message. Take a look at that error message and go in and resolve it. So here you can see I click the Save button, and now I've got this red X sitting here next to my line. If I left click on this X, it'll give me information on what's wrong. And this one here tells me that a short description is required for my field. So it looks like I plugged in a % complete, but I did not plug in a short description. So I need to go in, plug in that short description, and click Save again. Once I've added all the lines that I wish to add, the next thing I'm going to do is take a look at my Earned This Period column. So I'm going to come to my Earned This Period column. I'm going to take a look at that earned and verify the dollar amount there. Then I'm going to come back up to the top of my screen. I'm going to click my General tab, and I'm going to scroll all the way down to Current Earned. And all I'm doing is just making sure the numbers match, right? So in the previous screen, it said that my earned this period was 11,250. I can see here that my current earned is 11,250, so I'm looking pretty good here. The next thing I'm going to do is attach any additional documentation that I need to attach at this point. So if you're not sure what documentation you should attach, or if it's necessary to attach anything, you want to reach out to your project manager or project coordinator, and they should be able to give you some guidance on that. So I'm going to click that Attachments tab. I'm going to come down to the paperclip, and I'm going to click that arrow down. Once I've clicked the arrow down, I'm going to select Browse. That Browse button will take me to another secondary screen. I'll then click Browse in the upper left-hand corner, and this will take me back to everything I have access to on my computer, all the drives and folders, everything I have access to on my computer, I'm going to see now. I will then select the appropriate document that I want to utilize and click Open. And when I click Open, I'm going to notice that that screen, the screen that I have sitting here, now has a document populated in it. And I can add as many documents as necessary and click the Upload button. Once I've clicked the Upload button, what I'll notice is a little paperclip now sitting next to Attachments. And I can see that in my attachments area, I have something available. So when this record goes to the next person in the workflow, when they look at this attachments area, they'll see that paperclip sitting next to it and realize that there must be an attachment. They can click on it, and they then have the ability to view the attached document. The next thing you have the ability to do is add a comment to your record. So if you want a comment that's going to be permanent to your record for the life of your record, what you can do is come over to the Comments tab, click on that, then come down to that body down in here and type the information, type the comment that you would like to add. The next thing you want to do, and this is really important, is to make sure that next to the Hide button that there is no check mark. And if there is a check mark, you want to uncheck Hide Box. If you leave that checked, it's going to hide the comment, and it'll go to the next person, and no one will ever be able to read your comments. So you just want to make sure that you uncheck the Hide button option. The next thing you're going to do is click Post. Once you've clicked Post, you're going to see a little Comments button sitting next to the comment. And that's going to let the next person in the workflow know that there's a comment waiting for them. That's going to be good for you too. So if you move this record on and then for some reason it gets returned to you, you want to take a look at this comments area and see if there's a little bubble sitting there for you. And if there is, that lets you know to click that tab, and it'll let you know what issue that the project coordinator or project manager has discovered with your record and what fixes they would like to see you make. So once you've done all that, you're now ready to send your record. Now, if you click Send on the record and for some reason you get an error message, take a look at that error message. It will immediately pop up for you here. If I click that Send button and there's an issue with my record, an error message is going to pop up and it'll tell me what my issues are with this pay request. So I'm just going to go in, fix those issues, save it, and then try that Send again. So for us, our send was successful. We've made all the fixes that we already needed to make. And now I'm ready to go to the workflow action. And 9 times out of 10, your workflow action is already going to be populated with Submit. It's ready to go to that next step in the workflow. You can now carbon copy any users that you may choose to carbon copy. So if you click this little select button over here, you'll have a list of users you can pull into there, and you can do that at this time. However, carbon copying isn't a mandatory piece of this, so you can leave this blank if you'd like to. So, got my workflow action sitting there. Next thing I'm going to do is click that send button. And when I click send, it's now going to move on to the next person in the workflow. So say you start working on your pay request and then you realize, I've got some stuff that I need to attach to it. I'm not ready to quite finish this record yet. I don't have everything I need to finish this record. So what you can do is, after you've finished working on the record or gotten as much information in there as you can, go ahead and click that save button. You should then get a little message that's going to pop up that'll say that the draft has been saved, and you'll just click OK. Now you can close OCI, you can go do whatever it is that you need to do, work on other project information, and when you're ready, you can log back into OCI. You can get back into your project, come to the left-hand side of your screen and click that drafts button. And when you click the drafts button, you're going to see any drafts that you were previously working on sitting there waiting for you. So you just double click on the draft record, finish it up, and move the record on to the next step. And that is the end of the application for payment training. If you've got any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact us at occi@ofcc.ohio.gov or give us a call at 614-644-2211. Thank you.